Richard. Don't fucking play games with me. I already heard your lips move. God. You would have got away with it if you didn't make that little sound with your fucking mouth.
It's the sound I make with your mother's mouth.
Oh, how I missed that. Oh, I missed that.
So should we wait for Bill to talk to HR or?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Queen needs to be present for that.
No problem. The Queen's absence was excused though.
Well, was it though?
It had been on the calendar it's on the calendar every year. Every year.
He just went through like the next 10 years because that's how long he's going to survive on this earth, and just circled like all the drinking holidays and
Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day,
Flag Day.
Not present.
Won't be there. You guys want to record on Christmas? Bill, we have a family. Fucking losers.
Jesus can go to hell.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Queen.
Oh, you're drinking High Noons again? God damn it. I don't like High Noon Rich.
I only got 2. It's the middle of the day.
Wow.
I don't think it was the High Noons that did me the other night. I was drinking straight vodka mix.
That will do it.
Yeah, I don't drink that shit. Richie, no good on alcohol. Stick to the beers, kiddo.
Oh, look at this. You look crisp. You look crisp, my friend.
Looking sharp. Hey, how'd that happen?
I just showed up today and there was a camera on my door.
There you go. And you're sure that it was from me, not the FBI?
It had my name on it, so we'll see.
No problem. No problem. Good to see you, Bill. Good to see you.
It's actually really good to see you, Bill, because the past few shows I have not seen you. It's just been like
the way I like it.
It's been a beaming light. It just blinds the shit out of me.
Just the way I like it. I just like to throw you off.
Speaking of sucking, Ray, did you have something planned for our HR scolding, or did you just want to bring it to the attention that we haven't been able to be at as many shows as I would have liked? I'm sure Bill has enjoyed his time off, but
always.
I know that. HR,
I just want to know where were you?
I was off island. I had undisclosed location that it just
the dinghy didn't have enough time to bring you back.
No, there was not. The dinghy didn't have enough power to get me back in time to run a show. And well, here's the thing. It's all my wife's fault. But secondly, we could have done the show after the game at like 9:30 on a Sunday with Monday off, but little baby Ray had to go to fucking bed. So, why doesn't HR take that into consideration?
Here we go.
Dude, you had today off. Why'd you have to go to bed so early?
I didn't go to bed early.
I said we can do it after this game, or we can.
And then I gave you the proposal. I said I'll give you the proposal. I said me and Nikki can do it, and you said, "Hey, that's great. Thanks for filling in. I really appreciate it."
Yeah, I was very.
And now you are spiteful little cunt
and kind, unlike Bill, who just said, "That's how I roll." Fuck you, bitch tits.
It's holiday weekend.
In the HR catalog of official reports, when we look back. Bill Gately's official response to his punishment: "Fuck off, bitch tits. That's how I roll."
I'm the queen, and this is what I said.
Welcome to Simline Sports Show, Fat Tuesday edition, June 1st. Welcome to season 2 as well. Bill also didn't know we were doing seasons.
If we do a show every day, how the fuck is it a season?
When you come around after a year, we just call that a season.
Just like the rings around your dick, it just means you have another year of life.
That made no sense.
I liked it. Rich liked it.
It was good. It was like one of those skinny birch trees. You can see it growing. This one's June 1st, Fat Tuesday. What the fuck are the Celtics going to do? That's what we're calling this one. Welcome to the show. Is it Billy Goody Two Shoes, or is it just Billy Boredom?
Yeah.
He doesn't like our jokes.
Nothing's
flying through. What are you drinking there? Dr. Pepper Cola?
Yeah, I like Dr. Pepper. It's my first soda in like a week, so
I would not see you liking Dr. Pepper.
I love Dr. Pepper. It's my favorite
pulled
soda.
it on tab. I thought he was a tab guy.
I don't know if I've ever actually had a tab.
I've had tab. My aunt used to stock it at her house all the time. Disgusting.
Tab or Tang. That's why I pinned old Billy Blue Eyes. Ray, do you want? This is your email. Should you be the host? Are you going to put the producer hat on? Do you want me to run through your categories here?
You can run through I'll let you be the host, but don't make fun of any grammar gurus. Or if the sentence doesn't make sense, just read it first and then put your little twist on it.
Okay, fine.
You have spell check right on your phone.
Joke's on you. I did it on the computer.
Yeah, there's no spell check on a computer.
There's no spell check
Even
on
worse.
a computer either.
No, even worse.
Before we get into that, all wait, what is this? Fat Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, White Birch Brewing is Fat Tuesday's drink of choice. Head on down to Nashua, New Hampshire. Their tap room. Ray, address, please.
460 Amherst Street.
Get yourself a flight. Get yourself a pint. Get yourself a hat. Whatever is this. The tap room's wide open. Beautiful tap room. Head on down there. And if you don't get it in the in Nashua at 460 Amherst Street, check it out at your local beer store. Wherever you get it, tell them the Simple Minds boys sent you. White Birch Brewing. Bad loss for the C's last night. Kyrie Irving stomped on your logo, and then someone whipped a water bottle at him. Before we get into your email here, Ray, public enemy number one. I mean, we know that we hated him, but if the rest of the country is not opening their eyes to how big of a fucking douchebag, flaming fraud douchebag Kyrie Irving is, what else is there to say? This guy sucks.
He does suck. I mean, he's come out pretty much, like I said, the whole racist Boston spew that he had because he didn't want anyone to boo him. So he kind of threw that out there so it'd get the little heat off of him, but that just made things worse. And then stomping on the logo on half court yesterday, that was a bad look too. But yeah, this guy's a douchebag. He always has been. He's getting worse as the years go on. Hopefully this is it. He wins a title and then retires because I don't ever want to see this guy again.
Am I the only one that doesn't care that he stomped on the logo? They run up and down that fucking court all day, all game.
But it was like one of the trash things.
I get it. I mean, it was definitely a trash thing to do, but I don't give a shit, honestly. Like it was more big a bitch move to throw a chuck of water bottle at him. As much as I hate Kyrie Irving, dude, this shit's got to stop. It's more of the fans. I don't care. I think you're gonna throw a fucking water bottle at him. Anyways, like he's public enemy number one, and I mean, I could give two fucks if they stomped on the Celtics logo. You know what, dude? Win, and then maybe things will be different. But you just got blown out, so fuck it. I don't give a shit.
No, that's wrong. Everyone, whatever happens moving forward, if Kyrie needs to be put on his ass by the Celtics. I mean, that's sports. You can't go out there and I'm not a big, this is disrespectful. That's disrespectful. I agree with you, Bill. Throwing the water bottle thing ruins the whole idea of getting mad at Kyrie because some fucking asshole threw something at a player, which is just dumb. Like, it's dumb. It shouldn't happen. Like, you know what you're getting yourself into, or you don't because you're that big of an idiot. But the stomping on someone else's logo, it's like, that's the biggest fuck you in sports. It's
like, I know, and it doesn't bother me.
Well, as a fan, it doesn't bother me. Like, look, it does bother me because it's Kyrie Irving. It's not like he's not the most uber competitor out there. He has said outright, basically before every game, that basketball is not the most important thing. I think because it's a out if he loses. That's because he's used it every single time he's lost. Look, basketball's not. He's never taken accountability for a goddamn thing that he's done ever. It's the wrong guy to do any of this. If KD goes out there and stomps on your logo because I own this place, that's what he's saying. Kyrie's going out there as a whiny little bitch. He's not saying we owned you in this series. We just beat you today. He's going out there saying, fuck you. I told you you're racist. I'm right. You're wrong. I know the world's flat and you're an asshole. That's how it comes from Kyrie Irving. Not that I beat you on the basketball court. And that's why it's a problem for me. Fuck Kyrie Irving. If that was Michael Jordan that stomped on your logo, you'd say fuck you too, but you'd understand that's coming from a competitive standpoint. I just don't think it's coming from Kyrie Irving. He's such an insufferable little prick. His motives are not from a competitive basketball standpoint. He tells you outright they're not. So how are we supposed to respect that move as a competitor? I don't think that's where it's coming from. I think he's just a fucking douchebag.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
But nonetheless, they did lose. They got their asses handed to them. However, Jason Tatum with another stellar fucking game, 40 points, 7 boards, 6 assists, coming off a 50-point game where they won. He was the best player on the court. You might be able to say in both games, he certainly was in game 3. He was the best player in the court with 2 ex-MVPs. And, Kyrie Irving, who, as big of a douchebag as he is, one of the best point guards in the league. So looking forward, obviously they're going to lose this series, probably in 5 games. They got a lot of work to do. We've talked about it before, but let's just run through some of it because there's a lot of talk, a lot of Kemba talk actually coming out of the offseason and going into the offseason and trying to move him.
That's gonna be the hardest thing for Danny to do.
It is, but let's touch on Jason. So he had an up and down year for me, but I said going in this playoff series, show me something. I think these 2 games with the fans in the stands got him to a point where he did. I mean, you can't move him. He's the guy.
He's untouchable. He's the untouchable. He's the franchise piece that you're going to build around for years to come.
The highest bidder. I want a total rebuild at this point.
Wow.
I mean, dude, I don't care.
No one's safe. No one's safe for you?
No,
Nice.
I'll move everybody. And the only reason is like I still don't trust these guys' will to win. You know, you said he had a good game last night. He disappeared for the midway through what he had. The first nine points, he was 4-4 shooting, and then he was like 1 for 9 in a big stretch from the second into the third quarter. So I mean, I'm still not. I've been down on Tatum for a while, and that's coming from me. When I said he was good as a fucking superstar, I've been down on him for a couple months now. I just think you got to either trade him or Jaylen Brown. One of those two got to go. And I just think you're going to get more for Jason Tatum because I don't think the two play well together. And you're seeing it now that Tatum's playing a little bit better, that Brown's not on the court anymore, especially the last couple of games. You got to move one of them. And Tatum, I think, he can bring you back the biggest return, especially if you're trying to move Kemba. I mean, those are 2 pieces. Then you get out of Kemba's contract. You saw the Sox deal with Kyle Crawford, Gonzalez, all that shit. I mean, at some point, if that's what you want to do and you got to desperately try to get out of one of these contracts, I mean, I'm all for it. Just start a complete rebuild, including Brad Stevens. Like, I want complete and utter changes in this whole Celtics organization.
I don't think he can do it. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I have the same qualms with Jason Tatum and the same worry. You know, I don't know if he has what it takes to do that night in and night out, and that's what it's going to take to be. Like, I've been saying it for a long time, the Celtics are as good as Jason Tatum wants to be. And if they had Jaylen Brown, if they had a healthy Kemba Walker, if they had their starting center, I think you see him give the Nets a series. And then you expand on that in the offseason. And that might be worrisome for guys like Bill who want them to blow up the team. But I honestly think it's true because you have Jason Tatum, who legitimately, if he comes to play every night, is a top 10 player in the league at this point. Guy plays defense. Guy is becoming a playmaker. Obviously, his offensive ability has got to a point where he scored 50 points 4 times this year. Like, that's not easy to do. And he kind of makes it look easy. So I'm with you. I hated his attitude earlier this season. I think I called for him to be traded at one point this season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm off that. You can't, in the NBA, you can't. At some point they might try to force their way out and then you bite the bullet and that's where you do your rebuild. But these guys just sign extensions. I think you got 1 or 2 more seasons to try and make it right with them. And that it just depends on how you do it. Right. You know, so is it Stevens? Is it Ainge? Do those guys make it back? I think they do this year. Should they? I don't know. But the biggest one they have to move is Kemba. If they can move out of that, if they can move out of that salary and get something in return to allow themselves to maneuver around the board and bring in some veteran pieces on their bench, then that's the thing.
It's going to cost you. Like I floated earlier this week, Robert Williams. I mean, you got to think if you want. It sucks that he's hurt. And this series, because I mean, you look at game 1, he had 9, 9, and 9, basically, you know, so almost had a triple double. You want him to kind of get up in there in the 10. You know, it'd nice be if you got up in there the 10 to 15 range for big guys in the league. I don't expect him to do maybe another year or 2, but at some point you were hoping that he would at least play these 5 games and then he could really start showcasing it. I mean, I know it's against Brooklyn where Blake Griffin sucks and DeAndre Jordan is a
God, he looks
shell
like a
of
himself.
DeAndre Jordan's a shell of himself too. So it's like, this could have been the series he could have kind of balled out. And again, after game 1. So, I mean, you're going to have to package him, Smart, and Kemba just to get rid of Kemba. It's the trade it's going to take because nobody wants that knee. Look, he was out again last night.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, if you can't gut it through a fucking playoff game, you either have no heart or that's the team going, no, you're still not playing. I think I lean more towards him because, I mean, if he says he can play and that knee's feeling good, he should be out there fucking playing. And it's the playoffs, not every other game off. And this is what's happening. I'm kind of tired of it.
He's damaged goods. His knee's done. I mean, I don't know if it was him or the team keeping him out on game 4 there, but you could see in game 3 he wasn't right. All of his threes for the last month have been short. He has no explosion to the rim. Yeah, he's absolutely damaged goods. The stuff that I've been hearing from guys like B-Rob, who are kind of on the Celtics beat, is you got to trade one shitty contract for another shitty contract. The one that actually leaked out, so there's been like Al Horford is in the mix. There's like some bit pieces down in Orlando that they're talking about.
I'll take Gordon Hayward back.
I don't think they'll give you Gordon Hayward for
head
Kemba.
explode.
I would explode.
I do that in a heartbeat. But the one that people are kind of floating out that seems feasible is Kristaps Porzingis down in Dallas. You package Kemba. Maybe it takes a first-round pick. Maybe it takes Smart and Rob Williams, whatever. At this point, I'll give you Kemba, a first, Rob Williams for something in return. I take
Damage
Porzingis.
good.
And
He's fucking damage goods too, though.
Yeah, but that's what you got to do.
What
You got to
want
take
a
shit with
damage good
shit.
Porzingis, 7'3" Porzingis over a guy that can't shoot and get by anybody and
Oh yeah, I would
defense?
take
He would fit- he'd
Porzingis
fit in
back. I
Bra-
just don't. He's just hurt all the time.
But he would
He's
fit
never-
Brad's system so well, though. That's exactly what Brad wants: is that big, tall, athletic big that can shoot outside. That's exactly what he wants. That'd be perfect. Yeah, maybe he can't go full season, but whatever. Neither could Kemba, so might as well try it.
He's got off the court issues too. He's a giant partier.
I think that
a
no,
rapist.
I think that got cleared.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got cleared of rape. Good. Yeah. So did
No,
Cody.
he's a dickhead. He's got probably the worst attitude in the NBA right now. He's an asshole.
Forced his way out of the Knicks.
Kemba's not. I mean, I wanted to like Kemba. I want him to be good. The knee has gotten in the way. It's not going to happen. He's got 2 years left in this deal, $30 million. The Celtics cannot afford to move forward with Kemba Walker in that contract with Jalen and Jason on this team looking to win, because it's going to hold him back. It's going to hold him back. So if that means trading one shitty knee for another shitty knee, then I'd rather that shitty knee be 7'3" than 6 foot tall and can't shoot or play defense anymore. And I think that's what it's going to take. And that should be the number one move in the offseason. However, Danny might have burnt some bad bridges last year trying to trade another bad knee across the league in Kemba, who he just signed as a free agent for a max deal. Does he need to go? I'm skipping over your stuff here, Ray, but it makes more sense to talk about Danny Ainge right
That's
now.
fine. You can do whatever you
Does he
want.
need to go?
He might. Like I said, I want complete, total changes. Start new. I think he's been here almost 20 years, won championships. Like, he's lost his trade muster after that Kyrie trade. You know, he's afraid to, he's afraid to make moves. He's afraid to kind of lose trades. And at this point, he might be a pretty good sought after GM. But I mean, I think the Celtics need to change course here, and Wick needs to grow a pair of balls and stop being a fanboy, and start bringing someone else in that can try to build this team. You know, I just think he even admitted this year he did a terrible job this year. Even last year, I didn't think the team was that good because he never addressed the bench weaknesses in the secondary scoring that they desperately needed when Kemba was beat up. And then same thing with Gordon Hayward. Nothing changed this year, you know, and you got worse with Tristan Thompson. Believe it or not, you thought we needed a big guy, and you got worse with Tristan Thompson this year than you were last year. And you botched the fucking Gordon Hayward trade. You could add Miles Turner as much as we wanted more of a veteran, but you botched that trade. You know, there's big problems, and it's been a trend for the last couple of years now. And you're stockpiling the draft picks for what? You're not using them for shit. So something needs to change, and I think it should start with the leadership of the team.
Raymond?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Bill said, but
You've
I
been
think
calling for heads since like February.
yeah, but I think the out that we might have with getting Danny out is with the whole he hasn't heard racism in the city since he's been here. I think that could be an out for Wick and be like, all right, you know what, you've butchered this fucking lineup like Bill just said. You've made this comment that you haven't heard anything, so that's a big black eye for us. So we're gonna part ways or give him a different role and bring someone else in. That's what I think. I think no matter what, Brad Stevens is safe on this team. I think we got till next year. If he's at the All-Star break, that's when heads will start rolling and say, all right, this guy doesn't have it. It's time to go. But yeah, the lineup that Danny brought out for Brad Stevens was terrible this year. I think, like I said before, you take the two J's up in the office and say, what do you want? Who is going to make you guys excel to that next level and go from there? And Danny's not doing that. He's just doing Danny Trader things, and it's not working out.
I think
if they do that, sorry, Rachel, if they do that, like, okay, yeah, it doesn't mean that you're going to go get those guys. That's the biggest thing. Like,
no, but it'd be like, what kind of big do you want? Do you want a big?
I don't like superstars doing that shit. Like, I just think like you see with the LeBron shit, like, no, players shouldn't have any input on guys. Have
you not been watching the NBA for the past 20 years?
And I don't agree with it. I'm just saying right now.
That's what they do. So why not give them the say, what do you want? What would make you guys excel to that next level? What's going to make you happy and sign that next big contract here and stay in Boston so we don't lose another two superstars in the making right now?
Yeah, as much as I don't like it either, it's just the way it works. And that's why another reason why I don't like I was not for the Kyrie Irving AD team because I didn't think that would be as fun a team to root for than homegrown talent. And that's kind of where you're at now. And that homegrown talent has gotten good enough to hopefully recruit guys into the city. And if that means that Danny Ainge has to go because he's a headpiece that has lost his touch and is kind of away from reality in the NBA world at this point, then I'm kind of leaning towards it. I've been giving Danny the benefit of the doubt because he's been an excellent GM for the Celtics for as long as he's been there. But yeah, I think this year fucking deflated the hell out of him. I mean, I just think he got gassed this year. Like
It's a bad year for him.
taking interviews on the golf course, and that comment that came off racist or tone deaf or anything. I think that was he was just pissed at Kyrie. He was probably bullshit at Kyrie. He was like, fuck this guy in his stupid fucking comments. Like, I've never heard that shit. Fuck Kyrie. He never told me that shit. I've had conversations with him. So I think that's out of frustration that Danny Ainge has had all season long, which could lead to, look, Wick's not going to fire Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge will step down. Danny Ainge will take a higher title within the Celtics organization as a liaison or something else and give somebody else the day-to-day GM duties. That's how you're going to see the departure of Danny Ainge as the Celtics general manager. And I don't know, it might happen this offseason, but it's a big offseason for the Celtics. I don't know if Wick's going to trust somebody new to do that. I think that they just try and weather the ship with their crew. And hopefully Danny has the balls to go big. Which to me is the Jays are untouchable and nobody else is.
Make a break for him this year. This is make a break. This offseason is make a break. If Danny can't pull it and we're not a top 4 team in the East next year, it's fucking see you later, sayonara, blow this thing up like Bill said.
Like if you have a deal like the Bucks did for Drew Holiday, which everyone said was crazy, 4 first-round picks, and they gave that guy max money, and now look at the Bucks. If you have that deal on the table for Danny Ainge, where you make it and everyone goes, Jesus, you overpaid for that. That was crazy. Why'd you do it? And if he doesn't do that this year, then yeah, he has to be fired. Those are the deals that he's been passing on for several seasons that may have been, especially last year in the bubble, a Drew Holiday or someone like that, like Bill said, to pick up at the deadline. That would have been the difference in that Heat series. At least you probably don't beat the Lakers, but who knows?
Can I ask you a question? We talked about this before with Kawhi going to the Raptors, and it would have taken Jaylen Brown and a couple other pieces. Would you say that was a home run shot if Danny pulled the trigger, won the 18th banner, but then he left the next year? Would you be mad or now rebuilding again because Kawhi is gone and all that stuff? Would that be something that you'd be like, all right, he got us a championship, now let's let him rebuild this team? Or would that be something that you'd be like frustrated with because he sold out to win a championship?
Yeah,
I'm all for selling out winning championship.
I am too. If you can put a banner up in the fucking ceiling, do anything possible, even if it's just for a rental piece for a year.
I'm kind of torn on it. I was against the Kawhi thing because you weren't guaranteed the championship. Obviously, it worked for Toronto.
Of course, it worked for Toronto. Obviously, looking at it now, they won the championship. That's why I'm saying if you got to Kawhi and you could have won that championship with Kawhi, but then he left and Horford left and Kyrie left and all that bullshit.
Yeah, Generally, I'm a yes on that. The Kawhi one is interesting because you knew he was going to LA. Like it was foregone.
Oh yeah, he said it. He said wherever I go, I'm going to LA.
This is as true a rental piece as you can get.
Yeah,
but like you look at Paul George, who went to OKC, liked it there, and then it was a dick and forced his way out because Kawhi made him. But him and Russell Westbrook had something going. Yeah. So in general, yes, this is a league that you have to trade young talent for veteran talent and win. And that was Danny's plan and he fucked it up with that stupid Rose rule and couldn't go get AD in the same season he got Kyrie.
Yeah,
and that. He derailed. I think
that fucked everything up.
I think he was neutered and has been deflated ever since.
Oh yeah.
And Bill's right. It's been a little bit of a downward trajectory. So maybe you need fresh blood in there. Maybe you need someone who's energized to come in and go, look, it's not that bad. You tweak this, we tweak that, and you got one of the best young talents in the NBA and another budding superstar, Jaylen Brown, behind him. The Celtics should be in okay shape to compete and move forward instead of blowing it all up. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do. And I don't want to give credence to COVID in a crazy year, in a wild year, but we've been saying it all season. When you're led by a 23 and 24-year-old, those are the type of things that creep in and really affect your team. If you had a real strong veteran leadership there as your best players, not as much, but I think Boston was affected by that. In a normal season with fans, your young kids get jazzed up at home. You probably handle your business a little bit better. If you want my prediction, I think that's what the Celtics are unfortunately going to go with into next season. I doubt Marcus Smart gets dealt. I have to believe that guys like Grant Williams, Semi Ojeleye are not on this fucking team next season. Carson Edwards, I have to believe they dump that end of the bench just to bring in some more energy, to bring in some more different faces and shake things up. I think they'll rely. I think Danny Ainge will put a package around Kemba Walker that puts Romeo Langford, Nesmith, a first-round pick, Robert Williams, maybe Marcus Smart, and offer that out to the league and go, what can you guys give me for this? I'm giving you basically my entire bench and a shitty contract and a first-round pick.
3-team trade.
Something decent in return.
Yeah, it'll be a 3-team trade. I think he does that, and then it says, here we go. Give me another team to work with. You can have whatever you want. Just make this guy. Kemba's going to be the trade piece around the whole thing. Let's work something out. And I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think Marcus Smart's worn out his welcome here, and he's on his way out because he thinks he's that the three-headed monster with the two J's, and he's not. So it's time for him to go.
Not at all.
Yeah. I think Jaylen Brown would be
ecstatic.
Ecstatic. You asked Jaylen Brown first move that if he's in Danny Ainge's office, first move you'd like me to see me get Marcus Smart out of here, please.
You wouldn't even let him finish the question. Marcus Smart.
I'm sick of his fucking bullshit in my ear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet that's the case. And Jason Tatum was like, "I'd like softer pillows on my seats in the locker room, please." Quick question here. Evan Fournier is a free agent. You used over half of the vaunted TPE.
More than that, you got 11 million left.
Yeah, so 17. Yeah, so do you have to sign? Does Danny have to sign Evan Fournier to save face, or do you have to hold your pride there? If Fournier wants 25 million a year or some stupid shit, you got to let him go, right? And go use that TPE on some $11 million bum.
Yeah. I don't think you have to keep him. Let him walk. If he wants a stupid amount of money, let him walk. You don't have to. I don't think you have to. The two J's are the only people that you don't have to give trust in this whole locker room. Everyone else, see you later. I don't have to have trust with you or save face with you. Just see you fuck later.
It's another reason why a guy other than Danny could come in here and do work, because if he lets Fournier walk, he's going to get burned for that TPE thing. He's going to get absolutely crucified.
The media around here is going to fucking crucify
him.
So
his motives on Evan Fournier are not what I would call solid moving into the offseason. Although I like Fournier. He's not a world burner, but if he wants 20 million plus or something like that, if he wants starter money, you can't give it to him. You cannot give it to him.
No, he's a bench guy on this team.
Yeah, absolutely. He's too streaky. He's too inconsistent to be anything else. He can go out there and drop 20 for you, and he hit some big shots in game 3. Kemba wasn't hitting him. Fournier hit some big shots for you, and I think he's got attitude. He called KD a bitch, which I like. So I like that about him. I just, you can't go overpaying for guys at this point in time. I don't think.
No. Well, you could if you do move Kemba, you do move Marcus Smart, and you don't get a ton of money back in return, or So I mean, I don't mind Fournier. I just think he got a bad rap with coming in with COVID. He missed a lot of time, and then when he came back, you're trying to finally see the kind of guy entering the playoffs. I mean, he's the type of guy that could, you'd want him on your 6th or 7th man coming off the bench, and I just think this is what you need. If he can give you 15 points off the bench, this is what the Celtics have been looking for quite a few years now. So I mean, I wouldn't pay him more than 20, but I mean, I think he's coming in at 17 this year. I would, he's probably going to want to raise. So I mean, at what point, 2022, I could see something like that. I mean, again, but that's saying you move Kemba and you move Smart and some other money. But I mean, at that point, he's right around there. So of course he's going to want more money, and that's the going rate for these guys. I mean, Evan Turner signed for 4 for 84 one year or whatever. Fucking
that was a crazy year though.
Ridiculous contract.
It'll be interesting to see what the salary cap does, but that's kind of a good point. But they almost have to do it. They're so strapped for talent, and their money situation is kind of fucked that you can't go out there and sign a big free agent.
Yeah, you have to sign your own guys. Basically,
you have to sign your own guys. So they might be forced into signing Fournier for 20 plus, which whatever. I don't know. They're in a rough spot. Look.
Very rough spot.
They're in a rough spot. They need Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to truly become Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. They need them to become those guys for this to work. And then you start filling the pieces.
Not this year, or not next year either.
Probably not next year, but last thing I'll say in this: if Jason Tatum played to his ability like we've seen here in the last couple games, and if Jaylen Brown, who I thought was your best player for majority of the season, maintained that all season, there's no fucking reason they shouldn't have been the 4 seed. There's no reason they couldn't have passed Atlanta and the Knicks. They played with heart. They don't have technically more talent than you. If you played with any amount of heart for those stretches where you lost 4 in a row to the worst teams in the league, you'd be sitting at 4 or 5 seed. You wouldn't be facing the Nets in the second round. You would have a second round exit in a 6-game series with somebody if you just played your potential throughout the season. And they didn't. So,
you know why? I can tell you why. They don't like each other. You look at the Knicks and the Hawks. They like each other. They build around each other. They stuck up for each other. I don't know
they
if
don't like Marcus Smart.
I don't know if you watched the Hawks in a Knicks game the other day, but Gallinari went after one. I don't know, number 25 is on the Knicks, but Julius Randle stepped in and fucking gave him a hard foul after that. That's because they stick up for each other. This team hates each other. We've said it all along the season. You can tell that the whole atmosphere of this it's nuclear. It's going to blow up pretty soon because these guys don't like each other. Build around the Jays, get who they want, get their buddies, get whatever, but you got to help these guys out or else they're not going to want to win. And that's how the demeanor is of these guys and the millennials. They just don't care about winning. They just want to have fun going out there doing it with their buddies. And they don't have those buddies.
I think that's pretty close to the bone. I don't know if it's a millennial thing because Trae Young's a fucking dog. So, and he's 21 or something. And Luka's, there's some nasty millennials out there.
Yeah.
I don't think you have that type of, you're right. I don't think you have that mentality in Jason Tatum. And I don't think Jaylen Brown necessarily has it either. I think that he's has a little bit more pride and shows it out there. But Cedric Maxwell came out, he's like, have either of these guys gotten in a fight in their entire career on the court? None of them.
Smart.
Well, this is my point. If you trade Marcus
beat
Smart
up a guy in college
for a guy that's actually tough and who actually is like a little bit loose in the head, Marcus Smart is a calculated tough guy, and you can see right through his bullshit. And I'm sure the Jays can too.
No, that's definitely him.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you pay your internet bill, douchebag.
We lost him.
We lost Rich.
Yeah,
I think what he was saying though, we had that guy Marcus Morris when he was on the team, but he hated him. Oh, he is? Oh, there he is.
Hey, Rich.
Hey, Rich. Pay your internet bill, cunt. You're muted.
Nope.
You're muted.
On location. Sorry.
Your mic sounds like shit.
You're on the computer audio, bro.
Yeah.
This has been the Simple Mind Sports Show, Fat Tuesday edition. What the fuck are the Celtics going to do now? We'll see you on Wednesday when I get better internet. Bye. We're back. It's all right.
Oh, there you go. You sound better.
We're back. We'll fix that in post. Yeah, I'm here. We're okay.
Okay.
Any final thoughts on the Celtics?
Go C's.
No.
If they, I would. Here's the last thing I'll say. I would like to see fucking somebody. I think the guy is probably Grant Williams. It seems like who has a little bit of a mean streak compared to the rest of these pussies. Somebody just plant Kyrie. Just plant him. I know, Bill, you're not, you like the stomping on the fucking thing, but if you're on the opposing team, you cannot let somebody come into your building and literally fucking spit on your logo in the middle of your court and not respond.
No.
You cannot do that as a player.
No, that's when Marcus Smart should have pulled up his pants and fucking went after him. I totally agree with that. Yeah, you have to have one of those guys to go after him, and no one did. Everyone turtled.
And these dumb NBA players following Kyrie's bullshit, fraud, egotistical, selfish, self-righteous path is just, dude, open your eyes, you fucking idiots. This guy's a fraud.
What Thanksgiving.
Absolute fraud. Someone needs to just put him on his ass. Take the flagrant 2. Get kicked out, Grant Williams. Show some fucking balls. Bring it back to the Garden for Game 6. Just give me one more home playoff game with 17,000 fans.
It's not happening.
They fucking happening. They ain't happening at all.
Whatever. I hate you guys.